Stop scrolling for a second and look at your last haircut photo. Now be honest with yourself. Does it lift your face or does it drag it down? Because there's a specific style quietly aging thousands of women past 60, and almost no one in their life will say it out loud. Today, I'm showing you 6 haircuts that do the opposite cuts that can make people ask what you've had done, even though the answer is nothing but scissors. And stick around, because near the end, I'm giving you the exact 3 questions to ask any stylist before they touch your hair, plus the 3 quiet mistakes that age a haircut faster than the years themselves. If this is your first time here, welcome to Beyond Radiant 60 Plus. Hit subscribe now, because once you see haircut number 1, you're going to want the rest of what this channel has coming. Let's start with the honest part. Most women don't choose the granny cut on purpose. It happens by accident, one rushed appointment at a time, usually with the words, "just do whatever's easy," or "the usual please." And the usual becomes a round, stiff, overset shape that doesn't move, doesn't catch light, and sits on the head like a decision nobody actually made. Here's the problem with that shape specifically. As we age, the face naturally softens and rounds a little at the edges. A round, heavy haircut echoes that softness instead of working against it. There's no line, no lift, nothing for the eye to land on, so the whole face reads as tired, even on days you feel wonderful. And here's what almost nobody tells you. It's not an aging problem, it's a shape problem. Put the exact same hair in the hands of someone who understands structure instead of habit, and you can look a decade different without touching a single product or procedure. We put real effort into everything else. The skincare, the right blazer, the lipstick that makes us stand a little taller. Then we let our hair quietly say, "I gave up a while ago," and nobody meant for that to happen. So today we're fixing it. Counting down from the most subtle change to the one I'd choose if I could only recommend a single haircut for the rest of your life. By the time we hit number 1, you'll already be picturing it on yourself. Number 6, the soft textured crop. This is for the woman who wants short, current, and polished without anything severe or masculine about it. Picture a pixie's ease with extra softness woven through tapered cleanly at the back to show off the neck and jawline, while the top keeps enough texture to build height right where volume tends to disappear first. If your hair has been sitting flatter at the crown than it used to, this is often the exact fix, because the right internal texture creates the illusion of thickness that longer hair simply can't fake. And if you've got natural gray or silver, this cut loves it. Untreated gray hair usually holds more texture and grip than color-treated hair, which is precisely what a crop needs to hold its shape and bend. Worried gray limits your options? This proves the opposite. It actually opens doors color can't. This shape adapts to more face shapes than people expect to. Rounder face, ask for a touch more length and lift through the crown to add vertical line. Longer or more angular face, keep it shorter with soft, broken pieces near the forehead. Styling takes under a minute. A little cream between your fingertips, rake it forward and slightly to the side, done. No blow-dry marathon, no round brush battle, every single morning. Number 5, the face framing wave. This one's for the woman who wants romance and movement without going full shag or anything too editorial. It works best on a length that lands around the collarbone with layers kept subtle instead of choppy, so the hair moves the way fabric moves rather than looking chopped apart. Think of it like a well-tailored dress, effortless on the surface, engineered underneath. This is especially useful if you've noticed thinning at the crown, one of the most common changes with age and one of the least talked about. A skilled stylist can place the layers precisely where density has dropped, so the cut itself becomes a styling tool instead of just a shape. Style it with a large curling wand or a round brush for something more polished. But the goal is loose, easy waves, not tight, springy curls. The difference between a wave that looks alive and one that looks like it's trying too hard. One detail almost no stylist mentions. Never start the curl right at the root. Begin about 2 inches down the hair shaft and you'll keep volume exactly at the crown while everything below still moves softly. Number 4, the modern lob. Short for long bob. This is the bridge for the woman who isn't ready to go short but is tired of length that does absolutely nothing for her face. It typically falls between the chin and the collarbone, and what makes it modern instead of dated is what's happening underneath the surface. You want a clean, blunt perimeter with weight removed from the inside, not visible, chunky layers scattered across the top. That single distinction matters more than almost anything else on this list, because a poorly cut lob can look every bit as flat as the granny cut we started with. That blunt line catches light beautifully along the edge, which makes the hair read as glossier and healthier even if it's thinner than it used to be. Try tucking one side behind the ear to open the face and show off your earrings while the other side sweeps forward for a little softness and mystery. It's a small asymmetry, but it makes the whole look feel current instead of static. And it's remarkably versatile, sleek and straight for a polished day, tousled with texturizing spray for the weekend, loosely waved for anything in between, all from one underlying shape. We're a third of the way through, and the next 3 are the ones that get the biggest reactions in my comments every time. If you want next week's transformation guide the moment it drops, subscribing is the easiest way to make sure you don't miss it. Number 3. The soft shag. If you want movement and ease with zero stiffness anywhere in the shape, this is one of the strongest cuts on the whole list, and it's genuinely having a moment right now. Instead of one static, rounded outline, a shag builds in diagonal and vertical lines, which keeps the eye moving across your face instead of settling on any one heavy area. Round shapes tend to emphasize sagging. Broken diagonal shapes do the opposite. This style pairs beautifully with a curtain fringe that opens in the center and frames both sides of the face, softening the forehead, quietly camouflaging lines, if that's something you think about, and pulling attention straight toward your eyes and cheekbones exactly where you want it. Ask for short to long layering, with the shortest pieces concentrated near the crown and length building gradually toward the ends. That structure creates real lasting lift without teasing, without heavy product, and without daily heat styling. One warning, if your stylist cuts a shag in one even straight line all the way around, that's not a shag. That's a rounder version of the exact problem we're trying to avoid. The shape should be carved with a razor or point cutting technique, piece by piece, not chopped flat with straight shears. Number 2. The modern pixie bob. This is for the woman who wants a shortcut but isn't ready to let go of femininity and softness entirely. Sometimes called a bixie, it combines the clean, lifted nape of a pixie with just enough length left in the front to frame and soften the face. That tension between short and long, bold and gentle is exactly why it flatters such a wide range of women. The key is asymmetry. A long, sweeping fringe angled across the forehead builds a diagonal line, and diagonal lines are always more dynamic and more slimming than anything perfectly round or straight. It's the same principle as the shag, just packaged shorter and punchier. Gray hair genuinely thrives here too, since its natural texture provides built-in body that color-treated hair sometimes lacks. You're not fighting the hair, you're just shaping it and letting the texture do half the work. Styling is refreshingly simple. A little cream raked forward while the hair is still slightly damp and the cut carries the rest. It's a wash-and-go style that still reads as intentional and expensive. Number 1, the architectural bob. If I could recommend exactly one haircut for every woman past 60, it's this one without hesitation. It's sharp, clean, and reads as expensive in a way that's almost impossible to fake with any other shape. More importantly, it builds the illusion of lift right along the jawline, one of the very first places most of us notice softening. A blunt horizontal line at or just below the chin acts like a visual stop sign for the eye. It gives the whole face structure and makes everything above that line look firmer and more sculpted, almost like a quiet, invisible lift with no needles involved. The mistake most stylists make, and it happens constantly, is layering the top too heavily, trying to add movement, which turns a sharp architectural line into a round, mushroom-shaped silhouette instead. What you want is a blunt outer edge with the bulk removed from underneath and visible from the outside, so the shape stays strong and unbroken while all the excess weight quietly disappears. It's a completely different technique from ordinary layering, and it's exactly why this cut looks so much more polished than the average bob you'll pass on the street. Styling could not be simpler. A flat iron for something sleek or a blow dry with a slight inward bend at the ends, and you're done. Blunt ends reflect light far better than feathered ones, so the hair looks healthier and glossier even on a no-effort day. If that last one made you sit up a little straighter, that's exactly the point of this channel. Subscribe to Beyond Radiant 60 Plus if you want that same feeling delivered every single week. We're not finished, because a great haircut in the wrong hands still turns into a bad one. Let's talk about color for a moment, because the wrong shade can undo everything we just covered. A lot of women are told to go lighter and lighter as they age on the theory that it softens the whole face. But hair that's uniformly light, with no depth left near the root, can actually wash out your complexion and flatten your features instead of lifting them. What tends to work far better is keeping a little depth close to the root and gradually lightening toward the ends. So the color frames the face the same way a good cut does, and it makes gray or silver look intentional instead of simply grown out. If you already love your natural gray, resist the urge to erase it with heavy all-over color. A few soft, low-maintenance highlights woven through can add dimension without losing the texture that makes gray hair so striking in the first place. Color and cut should be pulling toward the same goal, not fighting each other. Now, save this next part because you can use it at your very next appointment. Here are 3 questions that separate a true artist from someone who's just going to hand you the same round shape everyone else walks out with. Question 1, how will this cut behave with my natural texture if I don't use a round brush every single morning? A real stylist cuts for your actual life, not some 15-minute blowout fantasy you're never going to do on a Tuesday. A vague or defensive answer tells you everything you need to know. Question 2, where exactly will you be building lift, and how will you make sure it doesn't round out at the bottom? This one instantly reveals whether the stylist understands shape and balance or is just trimming on autopilot. A specific, confident answer is a very good sign. Question 3, how do we keep the ends blunt while still keeping the overall shape feeling light instead of heavy? That single question tests the hardest technical skill in every cut we covered today, balancing fullness and movement at the same time. Before we close, 3 quiet mistakes that age even a great haircut faster than the calendar does. First, thinning shears. Avoid them whenever you can. Hair past 60 is often more porous and prone to frizz, and thinning shears tend to leave weak, fuzzy-looking ends instead of soft ones. Point cutting with straight shears builds texture without breaking down the integrity of the shape. Second, skipping heat protectant. Aging hair typically has a more compromised cuticle, so heat damage shows up faster and rougher than it does on younger hair. A lightweight protectant spray takes 15 seconds and is often the difference between glossy ends and brittle ones 6 months from now. Third, and maybe the most common of all, waiting too long between trims. Even a low-maintenance shape like the ones on this list needs a refresh every 6 to 8 weeks. Blunt lines and architectural shapes especially depend on precision, and precision fades. Let it grow out too far, and a great cut slowly drifts back into the exact shape we started this video trying to avoid. One more thing worth mentioning before you go: what's sitting in your shower matters almost as much as the cut itself. A lot of women are still using the same shampoo and conditioner they bought 15 years ago, formulated for hair that had completely different needs back then. As hair ages, it usually becomes drier and more porous, even when it doesn't feel that way to the touch. A moisture-focused shampoo, a lightweight leave-in, and a weekly deep treatment can make even the simplest cut look noticeably shinier on camera and in person. You don't need 12 products. You need 2 or 3 that are formulated for the hair you actually have now, not the hair you had decades ago. Your hair is not a monument to who you used to be. It should reflect who you are right now today. A great haircut changes more than your reflection. It changes how you walk into a room, how you show up in photos, and how it feels the instant you catch yourself in a shop window and don't look away. So go to the mirror, look at your jawline, your fringe, the shape framing your whole face, and ask yourself one honest question. Does this haircut lift me, or is it quietly weighing me down? If this video spoke to you, subscribe to Beyond Radiant 60 Plus so you never miss the next one. Next week, we're breaking down the 3 hair colors that quietly add 10 years and the ones that take them right back off. Before you go, tell me in the comments which of these 6 haircuts feels most like you, or the one style you'd never let a stylist talk you into. I read every comment. You deserve to feel confident, current, and radiant every single time you look in that mirror.